guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm gonna do my video in a little bit of a different format. I just didn't really feel like sitting today, so I'm going to stand and talk to you. So I want to talk to you ladies about a topic that may or may not make sense at first, but I want you to hear me out on this and why I feel like this is really important, especially when it comes to the strip club world. So I know I've done many videos on this where I have talked to you about the importance of looks and why looks matter to men and why looks matter in the strip club, and why we need to always be investing in ourselves and, you know, wearing makeup and doing our hair and not being lazy, and how that all ties in with how you can make more money and how you can benefit from that. So now if you have all that together and you still feel like you're struggling, or maybe you feel like you could just be doing better, or maybe you just don't feel like you're making the kind of money you should be making, I want you to hear me out on this. And one way to figure out like a good indicator of where you are in terms of how you appeal to men is, don't ever take women's compliments as good indicators of where you are, okay? Actually be really afraid when women compliment you in any sort of way, because you're not there to impress women. You are there to impress men with your looks, okay? You're there to appeal to men, not appeal to women, okay? Now, what women and men find attractive is totally different, ladies, okay? Men are, remember, a totally different species, okay? They definitely have their own way of thinking and their own ways of how their brains work, and they are programmed differently than women to evaluate a woman's appearance, okay? So when a woman compliments you, that is definitely only good for certain situations and in certain contexts. If a woman were to compliment me if like I was working at the club, I would be really I would take that very apprehensively, and I would probably go back into the dressing room and figure out what it is about myself that is appealing more to women than to men, and change it. Because most of the time, like I said, what women find attractive in other women is usually things that are trendy or things that are different. Like maybe, you know, it's like maybe your hair is blue, or something like maybe you have something that is just not universally attractive to men. Now, I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with blue hair or whatever, but sometimes those things like that are unique or different, or like I said, like to say trendy, are not what men generally find attractive most of the time, okay? Or it makes it narrows you down, it puts you in a category, so it makes you not as appealing to more men. You kind of turn yourself into like a niche almost, if that makes sense. So then you only are appealing to a small group of men versus a larger group, okay? And so, and I take this in my personal life, you know, I always try to dress and appeal to men just because I feel like it benefits my life more. Now, I'm not saying that you have to go out and do this and appeal to men, and that's not what I'm saying, but what I am saying is I only would take a woman's validation if it were maybe in terms of like a business transaction. Maybe I'm dealing with women in a social circle and it's appropriate to get their feedback for a certain reason versus a man's. But in my daily life, and especially if I were to be dancing again, I would be very cautious of hearing women's compliments. You always want to hear more men complimenting you than women. And like I said, if you're hearing more compliments from women, that's usually not a good sign, and you should go back to the drawing board and try to figure out what it is that that maybe you can change or improve upon, and see if that changes. Okay, so it's just another way to make your job easier at work. You know, I always say work smarter, not harder. You know, I am no way saying, you know, you need to appease men and do all this. That's not what I'm saying. But, you know, this job can be difficult sometimes as it is. And like I said, I always encourage you ladies to take the easiest and the path of least resistance, as I like to call it. And, you know, with men, it's pretty simple. Okay, so if you ladies have any more further questions, feel free to leave it below, and we will see you in the next video.